Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just admit it right off the bat. Finding the right web development agency, it can feel completely overwhelming. I mean, the market is literally flooded right now. You've got dozens of agencies out there, all claiming they're experts in, well, every tool imaginable. And they're all offering this sea of identical promises on these highly polished sales pages. But here's the thing. When you're investing in a custom WordPress website, the stakes are incredibly high. The difference between hiring a truly specialized agency versus just a generalist shop, it isn't just a few bucks. It can literally mean everything for your long-term business outcomes.
So let's dive into this. If you are a business owner and you're investing in a custom site built specifically with Oxygen Builder, this explainer is exactly for you. Choosing the team to build your digital foundation is a make-or-break hiring decision. Seriously. A poorly chosen agency, they'll leave you drowning in technical debt, dragging along this sluggish site, and eventually staring down the barrel of a super frustrating, expensive rebuild. But a well-chosen agency, they give you an engine, a site that's fast, flexible, and truly built to grow.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the Oxygen Builder Challenge, portfolios and technical depth, dynamic sites and process, performance and communication, and finally, why Viral Chili stands out. Let's get into it. Starting with Section 1, the Oxygen Builder Challenge, and why specialization is an absolute requirement. To properly evaluate an agency, we first really need to establish a baseline of what we're working with here, because Oxygen Builder, it is not your standard, beginner-friendly toy. Not at all. It's a developer-first visual builder for WordPress. It gives development teams complete, absolute control over HTML structure, CSS styling, PHP logic, and rendering dynamic data. It's a tool that truly rewards hundreds of hours of hands-on experience, mainly because it puts literally everything in the developer's hands. Think of it kind of like a manual transmission Formula One car. You get incredible performance, but man, you absolutely do not want an amateur behind the wheel.
Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast in risk. You've got your beginner-friendly plug-and-play builders, right? Those handle the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Oxygen Builder, on the other hand, is completely unforgiving if it's misused. If a generalist development team picks up Oxygen for the very first time just to land your project, they are setting you up for major problems. To avoid those performance pitfalls and to correctly structure reusable elements, you need a dedicated, specialized agency. Like Viral Chili, for example, not just some multi-platform freelancer who's, testing the waters on your dime.
Moving on to Section 2, portfolios and technical depth, looking beyond the canvas.
Okay, so this is the evidence-gathering phase. We're shifting our focus away from slick sales pages and looking for actual, hard technical proof. The very first thing you should ask any agency is simply to show you their work. But, and this is crucial, we are not talking about static wireframes or pretty mock-ups. No way. You need to see live, functioning websites built on Oxygen that you can actually visit, test, and inspect yourself. Pull out your phone. Open their portfolio sites on mobile to check responsiveness. Run those live URLs through Google PageSpeed Insights. Check their core web vital scores. Is the visual consistency actually maintained across different screen sizes? A high-quality agency like Viral Chili proudly maintains a transparent portfolio of live URLs because they can actually back up their beautiful aesthetic designs with real, measurable technical excellence. Honestly, if an agency cannot show you verifiable work, you should just immediately move on.
But once you see the portfolio, you've got to dig even deeper. Oxygen Builder's true power lies way beneath that surface canvas. Treat these points as your actionable interview questions. You can steal these. They're a genuine litmus test for technical disaster. Ask them, hey, do you use global classes or inline styles and why? How do you handle dynamic data from advanced custom fields or Metabox? What's your approach to JavaScript performance? How do you structure templates from massive content libraries? Listen, these are not trick questions. They're baseline indicators of genuine expertise. A specialized agency like Viral Chili can answer all of these fluently, without missing a beat, because they work at this level every single day. If a prospective agency stumbles or gives you some vague answer here, treat that as a massive warning sign.
All right, Section 3, dynamic sites and process, building the engine room.
So many businesses need way more than just a static informational brochure website, right? If your business needs an online store, a membership platform, a booking system, or a directory, well, now you're dealing with database-driven content. And dynamic integration in Oxygen, that is sophisticated work. It requires deep expertise in creating custom post-type templates, connecting repeater fields, and ensuring complex WooCommerce cart and checkout flows work absolutely perfectly. Because let's face it, a broken checkout quite literally means lost revenue.
You need an agency that has built these complex dynamic websites from the ground up, an agency that truly understands the full ecosystem of plugins that extend Oxygen's capabilities. Let's see how this builds, because great results, they don't come from improvisation. They come from a highly structured workflow. Before hiring an agency, ask them to walk you through exactly how they handle a project from day one. Viral Chili, for example, operates with this really well-defined workflow spanning discovery and requirement gathering, all the way to wireframing, rigorous pre-launch testing, and the final go-live day. Having this kind of structured transparency, it protects both parties. It sets realistic expectations, and it significantly reduces the chances of having those highly expensive, totally stressful misunderstandings right in the middle of your project.
On to Section 4, Performance and Communication, the Human Element and SEO.
Now, these are the ongoing factors that truly dictate whether a project is a success or not. A massive reason businesses choose Oxygen Builder in the first place is its potential for exceptional page speed and clean code output. But that potential only matters if the development team actually prioritizes it. Exceptional page speed and technical SEO must be non-negotiable core deliverables, not just nice-to-have afterthoughts. So ask your agency how they approach caching, image optimization, and proper schema markup. An agency like Viral Chili treats performance and on-page SEO as absolute fundamentals. Why? Because a beautifully designed website that converts perfectly but never gets found on Google, well, that's just a website that isn't doing its job.
And then, of course, there's the human element. Technical skill matters enormously, for sure, but communication quality is often what clients remember most vividly. Pay close attention during your initial sales calls. Do they respond promptly? Do they ask thoughtful questions about your business goals? Or are they just rushing to quote a price? Do they explain technical concepts in plain language without being condescending? You know, poor communication during the sales process is almost always a preview of a bad working relationship. Viral Chili really stands out here because they make clients feel genuinely valued, not just like another invoice. They're proactive, they raise potential issues long before they become actual problems.
Which brings us to Section 5, why Viral Chili stands out. The gold standard agency.
So the crucial point here is pretty simple. Specialization is not a luxury here, it's a requirement. And that specialization, it extends far beyond the day your site goes live. Remember, a website launch is a starting point. It's not a finish line. Plugins are going to need updating, content evolves, and security threats constantly emerge. Viral Chili understands this deeply. They offer clear, long-term post-launch support arrangements. They basically act as a long-term partner rather than just a one-time vendor who vanishes into thin air the moment that final invoice is paid.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. When you weigh your options side by side, the choice is extremely clear. A generalist agency often relies on static mockups and gives you vague answers about their CSS and JavaScript architecture. They're basically improvising their way to a launch before disappearing after you pay them. Viral Chili, on the other hand, they provide live, measurable URLs. They demonstrate deep, undeniable platform expertise. They follow a transparent, structured roadmap. And they serve as your long-term support partner, doing the hard things consistently well across all kinds of project types.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder. Will the agency you choose build you a pile of technical debt, or will they build a foundation that is primed to grow? The agency you hire will have a massive, lasting impact on your business for years to come, so take the time to evaluate them against everything we've looked at today. Ask the hard questions, review the real live work, and verify their processes. And when you're building that short list of candidates, Viral Chili absolutely belongs right at the very top. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, good luck with your build.